Hi guys, I am Boaz. I'm the CEO of the Disneyland Media Internationals. In Disneyland Media Internationals, we conduct a mentorship for children, and I mean from the middle school to high school to A levels and even at campus level. We usually have our mentorship and our coaching, we usually have our conferences every last Saturday of every month, the last Saturday of the month. So we meet in places like Oak Place in Runda. We meet in some hotels around the outskirts of Nairobi. And it has been very inspirational in the way that the children's talents are nurtured, the children's interests are nurtured, and we guide them through their studying, especially the ones that are still in school. Stuff like time management in school, managing the academic stress, coming up with models and better ways of studying, how they can use their skills, they can use their talents to help them also achieve well in the exams. So we basically sometimes conduct the parent-teacher conference, or we do these talk shows that we also learn from different parents across different counties, different countries, because we also do it online, to understand what are some of the challenges that parents pass through and how it can be of great help to the parents that have some or same experience. Now today I'm going to talk about managing your child's education. I'm going to talk about managing your child's education. And today you are the teacher. You are the teacher. The parent now, you are the teacher. Because in the past, parents were playing major roles in the performance of their children. But in the new setup where we have come up with the groupings in a class, it's like all the role has been handed over to the teacher. And that is why, based on my experience, I have a feeling that children are not doing well, even career-wise, because they do not get what it takes. And one of the things that you need to know as a parent and as a teacher, that being a great teacher, or all great teachers are great learners. You need to show the desire to your child that you are also interested in learning. What are the documentaries you watch? What are the textbooks that you buy back to the house? Remember, this generation is very interesting. They do not do what you tell them, but they do what they see you doing. So what are the books you read? What are the books that you read for your own development? Because the moment you come up with that program in your house, even your child will have an interest in doing their studying. So we are going to discuss basically. I can see there are so many people online also posting quite a number of questions. But remember, being a learner yourself, that's the point number one you need to take. By being a learner yourself. Then we look at the role of the parent in their children's learning, the role of the school, and basically the role of the education in connection to the career life. Now, show your child curiosity. You need to show that you are very curious about learning. Demonstrate to your child that you are curious, interested, and still learning new things. Humans are born with inner desire to explore and experiment. We are born with an amazing sign of wonder and world. What happened to that? It's Maya Angelou that really summed it up. And what she really said means a lot. This is what Maya Angelou said. Kids dance in their cribs, but someone will insist they sit still. By the time the creative people are 10 or 12, they want to be like everyone else. We are all creative, but by the time we are 3 or 4 years, someone has knocked the creativity out of us. Some people shut up the kids who start to tell the stories. And remember, that's one of the ways that you kill the passion and the desire of your child. That is creativity, that is innate, that is born right within them. And I'm talking to parents across the entire globe, from experience, from the knowledge I've gathered across all the parents, because we usually have our talk shows. I listen to parents across the globe, across different schools, from local schools to district schools to provincial schools, international schools, all over. And these are some of the things that we discussed. And we sum it up that will really help you improve on your child's education. Number one, make sure that you provide the right environment for your child's study. Number one, the room must be well lit. You find some children, maybe they sit where they are seated. You find they're not even comfortable. Somebody may have something good in the internet where they were doing their research. They don't even have the printer in their rooms to print the material. And in some cases, if the printer is there, the printer is faulty, it is not working. Sometimes you find the children, they don't have access to the internet in the house. Make sure that you supply your children. Make sure that there is adequate internet in their study room. Because it's an environment where they must be contained. Because as we believe, and what has been spoken from the time immemorial, that the mind is the standard of the man. So provide that environment. Make sure they have the right material, the textbooks. Make sure they have the computers, maybe if it is a laptop. The pens, the pencil. Maybe they wanted to study the topic of construction. By looking around, they don't have any geometrical set. So make sure you provide everything that they need in that particular room. That's one of the roles of any given parent, by providing the right environment to your child. Because this is finally what will lead them into their career life. You may find your child is not doing well, maybe in mathematics, or maybe in biology, in chemistry, or physics, or even in languages. But it may not mean that your child cannot perform. Maybe they lack the right environment. They lack the right guidance. They do not have the good mentors, somebody who mentors them. Like us as a company, we encourage parents across the globe, even if it is not somebody who tuition your child in a house, make sure you have a mentor. Who is a mentor? Somebody that is guiding them in the right way. Maybe your child wants to be a doctor. When did you look around and bring a doctor into your place? To interact with your daughter, your son, or your child. To tell them what is expected in that field of the profession. Maybe they wanted to study aviation, or maybe to be pilots. When last did you ever take your child to the airport and connect them to the people that are working there to see the nature of how airport looks like, the planes, how the inside of a plane maybe looks like, or what are the qualities, what are the skills that pilots need to have? That's the basic thing that you need to be talking about. Maybe your child says, maybe they want to be engineers. Have you ever taken them to any industry or a place where engineers do their stuff? So you start acquainting them to what they are supposed to do in life. That's one way of motivating them. Without necessarily just telling them, you know, my son, my daughter, you need to do well in maths, you need to do good in physics, without really connecting that physics they're doing in class to what they're supposed to do in the outside world. So basically speaking, that's how I think that these things should be connected. Because number one, as a good learner and as a teacher and as a parent, you must show some curiosity. You must show them some curiosity. You must demonstrate to your child that you are curious, you are interested and still learning new things. Remember, humans are born with inner desire to explore and experiment. We are born with an amazing sense of wonder about the world. What happened to that? That's exactly the question that we need to be asking ourselves. That's what we need to be asking our children. By sitting with them down. Do not just check the report card of your child by the end of the term. I know many parents do that because they're so much busy at work. They wake up in the morning when the children are still sleeping, then they come back when the children are asleep. They don't know their children. The only person that knows more about your child is your house manager, maybe the cook, or whoever you have put under the management in that house. When did you start sitting down with your child, looking at the exercise book page by page? And if you find there is a question that they did not do well, ask them, why didn't you do this? Guide them through. It is also a good venture. You may start reminding of yourself what you learned in the past. Maybe it's a quadratic equation. Maybe it's use of a calculator finding the cube roots, square roots. You know, when they see you being a participant in their learning, they start appreciating the value of learning. Because you cannot just tell them to work hard, yet you are not showing it in practicality. Because this idea of most of our parents, this is the truth. I know everybody listens to this, they know what I'm talking about is the truth. Parents, most parents just look at the report card at the end of the day. Then they ask, why did you become position 10, position 3? Maybe why didn't you get 100%? Why did you get 30 or 20? But in the long run, you do not know how the exercise book of your child looks like. Make sure that you check what they're doing. Some of them are just lazy. Some of them are just careless. Some of them don't even write the date, the topic. Their work organization is not proper. I remember my previous lecture discussed with the parents, and I've actually also posted on the YouTube, how the note-making skills, guiding your children on how they should learn, how to make their own notes. Then you need also to connect to the teachers. You need to be friends to the teachers that are teaching your children. Have their contacts. Make sure that you communicate with them. Call them once in a while. Ask them about the progress of your child. Make sure that you follow through. Without really just waiting until the end of the day, then you realize, what? My child just had an E, had a D or an E, or whichever grade that they may get. But I think you still have enough time that you can really and actually do. Because the question is that you need to ask a child that what is their blueprint? What is their life's blueprint? The desire to achieve it. And through this way, you can make your child learn and have the mind that, success becomes their brand. Excellence becomes their brand. Because in life, there are only two things. Service and significance equals to success. So if you make sure that you encourage them to that point, that they see their value in life. Because remember, sometimes, even if you take a seed and plant it, remember it will attract the resources of the soil. Water, air, everything that is required for the germination. So that's exactly what we are doing. You need to do to your child. Providing that environment and guiding them. Then at the end of the day, they will grow to what they are supposed to be. By knowing what they do in school on a daily basis. Following through the teachers. Sometimes you can have their homework, do together with them. And see where your child is challenged. Maybe you will be blaming the school or blaming the teacher. But if you check your child, maybe you understand, your child does not know 2 minus 5. Some of those basics that had been learned in the middle school or in primary school or in the kindergarten. So I think that's one of the ways that we need to look. Now, ultimately, your child's education is up to your child. As a parent, your job is to provide the environment I just talked about.